Welcome to the Daily Deuce. I'm Gary Graves from just outside lovely Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby, which takes place this week. But we're going to talk about baseball, and in Maryland, the land of pleasant living, my longtime friend, John Webster. How you doing, John?
Gary, I'm doing real good, man. Thank you for that kind introduction, like you always do. Another great week in sports. We're going to have a good time talking about. We're going to start off with baseball because tonight we have a special guest. Well, not a, no, I won't even call it a guest. She's part of the family. She's been here before. We have the one, the only Patti Mallin. You know, she's the co-host of No Crying in Baseball, along with her co-host Potty Mouth. Patti, welcome to the Daily Deuce.
I'm so happy to be here. When you were kind of taking back your intro, I thought you were going to say, well, no, she's not really special. I'm glad you changed it until she's not really your guest. I was getting a little, no, I'm out. I'm out. Sorry. Yeah, so it's No Crying in Baseball with Patti and the Potty Mouth because alliteration is everything. And my co-host is from Boston, so she can't help but swear. So, she grew up in, bleachers at Fenway. So my job when we go to baseball games together is to scout around and say, there are children present, hold back.
That's fair. That's fair. And of course, her being from Boston, I'm quite sure she had a few potty mouth phrases this past weekend when they had the exodus of a manager and six coaches.
That was crazy. Yeah, so we recorded our weekly episode yesterday, so it was even fresher. And she was actually in Boston for the weekend. In her dad's house, and she is a Red Sox fan because of her dad. Like she's third generation Red Sox. So it was not pretty. And I just had to sit back and hold everything so it didn't blow out with all of the, opinions. There were so many hot takes because that was unprecedented. And to do it in Baltimore, to fire these coaches when they're in Baltimore and make them get on their little shuttle bus and go home, it just seemed just like a step too far. Like they flew the powers that be from Baltimore from Boston to fire them here. That just seemed so crazy.
And also to add to the craziness, they had just won 17-1.
I'm sure you watched the Friday night game where Baltimore had a great game and
Yep.
the Red Sox did not. And they kept focusing on Alex Cora's face. And I thought, he looks more upset than just the Orioles are hitting a lot of home runs. So I wonder if he already knew something was happening there because he did not look good. But then, 17-1, and then, okay, yeah, you're still out.
And then we're going to get to the Orioles, but I'll tell you a funny story I heard about this. So, Jason Varitek, he's been with the Red Sox organization 20 or 30 years. He was able to stay. So he saw the shuttle bus and he saw Alex Cora and the other coaches on the shuttle bus, and he gave a thumbs down like he wanted them to stay. Alex Cora and them looked at him and gave a thumbs up because they were glad to get out of town. They're glad to be gone.
Well, it is Boston after all. That's a tough town.
Right?
It's unforgiving.
Sure enough. And I don't know that the fans are going to forgive the decisions because Cora was pretty well liked. And I don't know that Varitek really didn't they kept saying, oh, he's been reassigned. Mm-hmm. But I kind of think he's going to be out, or he may not want to stay because, as you said, the whole thumbs down situation. And boy, I mean, he is such a hometown hero. So,
well, let's talk about our hometown heroes. They're called the Baltimore Orioles,
I've heard of them.
and I love them. Gary loves them. You love them. We all love them. But within the love, there are some struggles right now. They're 13-15. They are on a 2 or 3 game losing streak. They have the Houston Astros coming to town. Patti, I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to put a series of questions together for you. What are your thoughts so far? That's the first thing. And then after you answer that, tell us, it's a 3-parter. Can the offense get better? Can the defense get better? Can the pitching get better? Your floor, Miss Mallin.
So everything is so streaky. They have these glimmers of just genius and brilliance. Like Friday night, they could do no wrong on Friday night. And then Saturday happened and they lost, by 16 runs. And then, Boston gets decimated and they still can't beat Boston. So I mean, it's like they keep, once you get into the, okay, wait till next year, that whole frame of mind that, okay, we love them, but don't get your hopes up. Then they get our hopes up.
Hmm.
Like Rutschman comes back from the IL and he's like, hits home runs all week long. Right. So, okay,
Hmm.
this is great. And then in my head, I'm like, but is he going to stay healthy? I don't know. He didn't stay healthy last year. It's like, he looks great right now. And I just feel like I can't enjoy it. I want to enjoy it. I want to relax and say, oh, well, Kobe Mayo was doing nothing. And then now he's a home run machine. I mean, like things are like little glimmers of things turn around and you think, okay, this is going to be great. They haven't sustained it yet. I don't know that they have that staying power. I mean, I think they really like Albie. I think they really like Craig Alberto, their new manager. He seems to have a good relationship with them. It's early days, right? We're just a month and a little into the season. Too early to tell. New guy. I think they've got like the pieces in place. I don't think they can get them all working at one time is the problem, right? So okay, so you said offense first. Offense first. Gunner's either on or he's off. He's either hitting home runs or he's doing a bat flip with a walk, or he's striking out again and being really ticked with himself, right? Basayev just kicked in. I love Samuel. I'm so happy to see him kick in because he looked like he was like really down. You can tell he's like so disappointed in himself, and then all of a sudden
Hmm.
this past week, okay, so he turned a corner. Like I said, Kobe, where did Jeremiah Jackson come from? Right? I mean, like he was just that guy doing fine, and now all of a sudden, like he's the guy who's hitting over and over again. Highest OPS on the team is Taylor Ward. Would you have lost money on that one? I mean, he's like a doubles machine. So they've got these guys that can be great, and they just can't. They're just not all being great at the same time. They're all so streaky. So I think like the bones are there. The bones are there. Like I believe the offense exists. They just need to like tie it together. The defense, I mean, again, like they can turn these really tight bang bang double plays, right? We were talking earlier. If you can get Kowser in the outfield, he's going to catch everything that comes his way. There are glimmers of that. I think we've got a lot of guys because of injuries and whatnot. We've got guys playing positions they're not used to. So, like you're moving like Blaze Alexander, new guy. We're moving him around a lot, right? He's not like settling in any one place. Westbrook's going to be out till I don't know All-Star break or whatever. So I think they're still trying to get the right guys in the right place. They move the outfield is like different every game. It feels like, right? I think Leon Taveras is really good. I think he's a keeper out there. Tyler O'Neill sometimes yes, sometimes no. Can't always tell. So yeah, I think the defense can get better. I think again, I think the bones are there. I think they've got the skill. They just need to get the guys in the right place, and they got to get everybody like at the right level of I don't know, caffeinated and carbo loaded or whatever it is, all at the same time. So
Hmm.
we're
Hmm.
I don't know. So what was my last? Oh, pitching, John. Every year I get phone calls from you, and you're like, pitching. Can you pitch? How's your curveball? Because we need you. And it doesn't exist, right? I mean, I was so happy to see Dean Kramer come back up, and now he's on the IL for probably weeks. Um, Rogers was going to be like the ace, and then Saturday happened. So I have a lot more confidence, I think, in our relievers than I do in our starters right now. The weird thing about the offense, speaking of starters, you were saying that Houston's going to have an opener tonight. I wonder what that's going to do to the Orioles offense because they've been only really scoring later in the game,
Hmm.
not scoring against starting pitchers. They
Hmm.
started in like the sixth inning, but if Houston is starting with an opener, maybe that'll mix it up. Maybe they can start getting some runs in early. I don't know, but yeah, I was so excited about pitching before the season started. Like we paid for guys, we got guys, and now we don't have those guys, or those guys aren't doing what we thought those guys were going to do.
It's rough. It's really rough. Gary, go ahead hit some questions over there to Patty.
Yeah,
What you
I
got?
I got a couple, and they're really kind of large picture perspective questions. Um, I look at their record and I've seen the fluctuations over this first month. How does this record compare to what maybe you expected with this collection of players, with what your initial expectations of this team were? To be right in the middle, I believe in that division where you've got what well, yeah, I mean the Blue Jays who are struggling, who went to the World Series last year. The Red Sox are struggling. They're in last place. They fired their manager. But here we have the Orioles is essentially starting over. Well, I guess you could say getting a first full season with this manager.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of questions about how they would adjust to a full season as opposed to say him jumping in, mid-season, with a firing. Are they pretty much where you thought they would be, close to 500?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I'm an optimist at heart. I really, really am. I grew up in Cleveland. I have to be an optimist, right? This is like, I'm 60 years old. There's a lot of Cleveland years where we don't talk about those anymore, right? So now that's all transferred to Baltimore, right? So there's like these glimmers of greatness. I was surprised by the drop last year, right? From like the previous year, like to the record dropping so hard and not living up to those expectations. So this year, I think being in the middle of the pack, I feel pretty good about. I think we can move up. A lot of the other teams aren't playing the way you'd expect them to play, except for the Yankees, because they're always the Yankees or whatever. But I've always thought that our division is very unpredictable, right? There's a lot of good teams there that could do surprising things. So yeah, I thought they'd be about here because I'm optimistic, because coming out of last year, it's a long road, it's a long way back up, and with the new manager and all of that. So I think I'm really hopeful. I think the new manager is doing good work. I think he's building the relationships that he needs to build. We got some new guys we're trying to integrate in the team. I'm okay. I'm okay. I dislike not being consistent, but I'm okay being in the middle for now.
Yeah. The great Tom Boswell wrote a long time ago about how when you enter May, all it takes is maybe one winning streak to really kind of get a team going, or take a team out with a losing streak. With baseball, being the kind of game that it is every day. Is this team capable of going on, say, maybe a 5 to 7 game streak and really trying to get in gear and really find itself?
Think so. I think they can do it. I want to know who the clubhouse leader is. I mean, I always thought it was Adley, but Adley hasn't been there a lot because of being on the IL or whatever. But I think he's got like the heart there. I know they brought Pete Alonso in as as a veteran to kind of like help get the guys going. He hasn't gotten going, but I think he's got the right attitude. So there's like the clubhouse situation different than on the field situation. So I think the clubhouse is really going to matter as far as getting them on that streak. Because as I know, we've seen they've got the pieces, they just haven't gotten it together. So I think the clubhouse is where they build that team and they get it together and they figure out how to work together and make it happen. So yeah, I think so. I always worry about the All-Star break. It seems like teams like whatever they're doing at the All-Star break is going to be the opposite coming out. Whether that's sustained or not is different, but they may be on a winning streak going in and then not, or they're like going down, and then all of a sudden they kick back in because of the break. So streaks are funny like that. I don't know, but I think they can pull together a couple in a row. And I think you're right. I think if they get that a little bit of that rolling, that the snowball's going to get bigger and bigger. If you can do it for 3 games, then you can do it for 5 games, then you can do it for 2 series in a row. So again, optimist, hopeful.
Patti, they played 28 games, 13 and 15. Is this too small of a sample right now?
Absolutely.
I usually like to base it off about 40 or 45. What do you think?
Well, if you remember, there's that team down the road called the Washington Nationals who had that was like 18 and 31. Was it 18 and 31 was their
Yeah,
starting? It was
18 and
huge.
31. Yeah, and
Came back
you're
and
talking
won the
about
World
in
Series.
the World Series season. Yeah.
So I will always have that in my mind. I was at that parade. I was in that ballpark when they were showing like the game on the big screen. Game 7 and the whole thing. I lived that, so I'm like, okay, if they can do that, then 13 to 15, we're in the middle. We're great. We're awesome. The whole like the saying was like, the bumpy roads lead to beautiful places. That's what the manager was saying about that. Like, yep, they do. So I think we're on the bumpy road part. We just need to get to the beautiful place.
You, I guess one of the things I want to ask is also with their offense. It seems that last year they struggled with strikeouts, and I still see them struggling with strikeouts. They had I think it was a series against Cleveland, or I can't remember what it was a week or so ago. One game they had 16 strikeouts, and the next day they had 12. So that's 22 strikeouts in
They
two
almost got no
days.
hit that series.
Yeah, and they made that guy, they made that kid look like Cy Young. I mean, he was just unbelievable. But what do you a hitting coach can only do so much, any coach. But what do you attribute their problems at the plate to?
That's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. Is it each guy individually? Like they're just seeing things differently, or is it, how they're working as a team, like how they're instructed to watch for things? I want to see how ABS plays out in how batters are doing. It's automatic ball and strikes. It's affecting pitchers, right?
Hmm.
Because now they know they've got like a tighter, the strike zone.
Hmm.
I gotta believe that's going to help lower the strikeouts, right? I mean, if it's going to be, I don't know that it has yet for the Orioles. I'm also interested in watching how players use or don't use their challenges. Like teams are behaving differently about that. Like
Hmm.
some batters are like, "Oh, I saw that. No, forget it," and they're frivolous and they're wrong, and then that's over. And the catchers are much better at it. But I do wonder how that's going to affect. Are they going to be more aware of what that umpire strike zone is because of ABS happening at the same time? Like even like in that game, is it going to teach them to be better? I haven't watched closely enough to see if that changes how batters are reacting to pitchers over the course of the game, but I bet it could.
Well, you brought up the ABS. What is your thought? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think it's good for the game? What do you think?
The fact that they are so efficient about it, I think is good for the game
Okay.
because, and I like when teams are careful about using it, like they use it in like a high leverage situation.
Hmm.
Like you've got 2 outs and you've got 2 strikes. Yeah, you're going to use that then because you're going to make a difference between like getting the next guy up at bat or not, as opposed to you're early in the game and it's a strike two or whatever it is, and it's not really going to matter yet. So I think when it's used judiciously, like in high leverage situations, and the fact that they are really fast with it. I mean, we're not like all sitting around like when you get this, and we can all see what the call is on the big screen, and we're still waiting for New York to like back us up. That takes a long time. The ABS stuff is really fast. I don't want to go to all ABS. They keep talking about that. Like, well, it's so popular. Maybe we'll just use that. No, I like the umpires. I like the human touch in there, but sometimes they're just going to be wrong. Like, and way wrong, and wrong is more important in certain situations. And the fact that they can call on that, I think that's good. What do you think about it?
I like it. Um, I think teams are going to have to learn how to become more strategic. Um, I really discourage these players to go tap their hat in the first inning because if
Yep,
you're wrong, you only got one left for the rest of the game. And I've
yep,
seen the Orioles a couple times where they tap their hat early in the game, like, let it go, too early,
yep,
save it
yep,
for the seventh or eighth inning. That's
yep.
my thing. But I think it's really good. I'm an old fashioned kind of guy. I don't want to see it. It's good, but I don't want to see umpires lose their jobs. So I want I want it to continue to be used the way it is and still have umpires be a part of it. It's like I'll tell you this real quick. It's like when I go to the grocery store with Kim. Kim gets mad at me because I refuse to go to self checkout. I will wait in a line and go to a cashier because a self checkout is a way to put a cashier out of business. And she gets mad at me and tells me go sit in the car, go do something. But it's just old fashioned me. ABS is great, but I want to see those umpires keep their jobs. I don't want to turn the game on, watch the Orioles, and I see a robot behind the home plate.
Yeah, no. So I'm going to agree and disagree. Like I'm going to go to the self checkout every single time. But yeah, but I want the human umpires. I absolutely do. I kind of don't think that pitchers should be involved in being able to challenge. Chris Sale was really funny in the preseason when they were talking to him about about
Mm-hmm.
what's the strategy. It's like I am never going to challenge. I think everything I throw is a strike, no matter what it actually looks like. So don't let me
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Which I totally.
Yeah.
I think the catchers are in a good spot and the batters, and I don't think anybody else should mess with it.
Now, this
Okay.
is the only thing I will adjust. You need to be paying attention to how many chances you have, whether you have one left or two left. And if you go tap your hat and you don't have any left, I think you should be penalized. I think you should, get another strike or something like that. If you go and if you don't have any challenges left, to me, it's like being in a basketball game. You calling a timeout and you don't have any timeouts left. It has to be a penalty for that. Again, this is an
Wow.
old man sitting on his lawn telling everybody to get off. So
Off the hand. Yeah,
Right.
I get
Well,
that.
I have an I guess a perspective again about this. Do you think it's made the umpires a little better or a little more aware of their calls, like watching them closely, so you won't have to go to the monitor, for balls and strikes, things like that?
I I hope so. I hope it has. I'm sure they all think they've got targets on their backs because
mhm,
now we've got all of these like websites that are tracking how
mhm,
ABS is going, so we know what umpires. They get challenged, but they were always right. They may have been challenged 10 times, but they were right 9 of those 10 times. And they've got the guys who were challenged 10 times and were
mhm.
wrong. 8 of those times. And is that going to be on their permanent record? Is that going to show up on the But I've always thought that there should be some consequences for umpires who are clearly making egregiously bad calls. Right? There's got to be some
Yeah,
quality
mhm.
control somewhere, and
Angel
maybe this is that
Hernandez.
quality control.
Yeah, I get it. And it makes
Yeah.
sense. Hey,
Yeah.
Patty, as we're
Yeah.
getting ready to wrap up, I'm going to ask you a fun question.
Already.
You go to Camden Yards just like I do, probably even more than me. What's your favorite eating spot at Camden Yards?
you know, it's the hot dog with the crab mac and cheese on it.
Yes.
Ooh. Ooh.
It
That is
looks
beautiful.
so and
That
it's
is,
so good. It's like you take a look at it, you think, oh, that looks like it's going to be the most awful thing, but it is so so good.
Mm.
Did I tell you what I'm doing in August?
oh, Patty, I'm getting ready to get jealous. All right. I
Uh,
know it's going to be something fun.
Potty Mouth and I are going on an epic baseball stadium road trip. We are going to go 2,500 miles in 2 weeks. And this, you bringing up food made me think of it because one of the things I've got to do is research what is the thing to get in all these different ballparks. Potty Mouth is a vegetarian, so she's just going to be like rating them on a whole different scale. I'm an omnivore. Bring it on. I want the chicken and waffles. I want I want everything. Excuse me. Pardon me. So I got too excited. I got too excited for the road. So we're going, from DC to Cleveland to Detroit to Chicago to Milwaukee. And then on the way down from Milwaukee, we're stopping in Springfield, Illinois, which is the summer home of the Women's Professional Baseball League. And we're
Hmm.
going to catch. They got a bunch of games in August, so we're going to catch a couple games there. We've also interviewed 3 of the women who got drafted to that league on our show, so hopefully we'll get to see them and see them play, which is exciting. Then on to Kansas City to go to 2 games and also go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Um,
Yes.
this happened because we interviewed Bob Kendrick, who's the director of that museum, on our show,
Hmm.
and the stories he was telling were so incredible. Like, we need to go to this museum and have Bob show us around. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to that museum. Bob's going to show us around. We're going to go to a couple of Royals games, and then we're going to go to our last big stadium is going to be St. Louis, and the Orioles. They're hosting the Orioles.
Great fans in St. Louis. The arches are beautiful. Oh my
And the
goodness.
restaurants are great in St. Louis too.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yes,
get
yeah,
recommendations for you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
So I'm gonna we get like, bird's eye view seats for everything. But for St. Louis, for some reason, we got super affordable seats like right behind the plate. I'm gonna be that jerk on TV wearing the opposing team's jersey in every single shot, at a Cardinals game. So, so watch for me, like right back there, seventh row, like right behind the plate. But yeah, so I want like city ideas because we'll have a little bit of time to see some things. I want to know what to get in the ballpark. I want to know what to get on our off time. What restaurants we should be going to. But yeah, so hopefully we won't kill each other. We'll be recording from on the road, but 2,500 miles, in a car together for 2 weeks. You know,
That
make
sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm jealous. Send me postcards, whatever city you're in. Call me, say hello. I just, and just so you know, Camden Yards, my favorite spot, Boog's Barbecue Pit.
barbecue. Sure enough.
And I go over there and I get the turkey sandwich. I
Mm.
load it up with horseradish sauce and put some coleslaw on the
Oh,
plate.
man.
I have Dante and JR with me, and Dante's really hard about my eating, so I had to pull up. We went to the Giants game, so he curtailed me eating as much. So, but hey, he's watching out for his old man. So,
I mean, I
but
appreciate that. Like, I'm glad someone's keeping you healthy. If I was there with you, I would be at Boogs with you. So yeah, we would be like, yeah, yeah. But I would
hey,
also have a beer on the side, which I know you're not going to do. So yeah, well, it all balances out.
Patty Mallin, you're simply one of the best. Thank you for coming on here today and talking with
I
Gary
really
and I
appreciate it.
about
Yeah.
some sports. And please tell Potty Mouth I said hi and continue doing the wonderful things you're doing on No Crying in Baseball. And oh, by the way, wonderful logo in the background of No Crying in Baseball. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Take care, my friend.
Thanks so much for having me. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, you absolutely will. You'll probably see me tomorrow.
So take care.
Bye. Hey Gary, man, she is absolutely great, man. I,
Oh
I
yeah.
enjoy it,
Oh
man.
yeah.
I enjoy it, and I'm sorry I got a little long-winded. I started talking, I can't shut up, So let's
No.
let's
Hey,
do a
we're talking about the national pastime still. Still.
let's do this real quick. Let's go real quick over the NBA playoffs, and then we're gonna wrap up with you talking about the Kentucky Derby, man. Okay?
All
NBA
right.
playoffs. I'm gonna ask you some questions. You tell me where we're going with this, Gary Graves. Okay, we're gonna start in the
Okay.
East. Boston, Philadelphia. Boston's up 3-1. What's gonna happen?
Boston's going to close it out tonight.
All right. Detroit's going against Orlando. They're down 3-1.
This one, probably the biggest surprise of all the playoff series because, I mean, we doubted the Magic, and I guess the Pistons have shown, or the Magic have exposed the Pistons as a team that might be maybe 2 years away as opposed to a year away because. Nobody expected them to win 60 games, but of course, you win 60 games and you're the number one seed in your conference. You got a target on your back, and the Magic essentially have nothing to lose. And we're seeing Paolo Banchero really perform the way that we expected him to when he was drafted. He's been kind of inconsistent, but matchups. I keep forgetting matchups have been really really important in this series, and the Pistons just don't seem to match up as well with the Magic as I thought they would.
Oh, Panchero's playing like he's back at Duke all over again, man.
Yeah.
He's rolling. How about this one, man? Cleveland and the Raptors, 2-2.
Yeah, I am mad at the Cavaliers because they took their eye off the ball literally in stretches where they could have clinched that game on Saturday. I mean, you're up 2-1, and you shoot poorly, but yet you fight back, you tie the game, you're up by six late, and then you just go brain dead, and that's the only way I can really really describe it. And it's like that team's focus. Somebody needs to really get in their faces and say focus because again, the Raptors and for what it's worth, John, it's a 4 or 5 seed matchup, and you say, yeah, well, there's not too much difference between them, but I do think the Cavaliers are much better as a 4 seed than they've shown, and they just need to really dial in. They've got a game 5 coming up. They should be able to win at home, and if they can do that, I feel good about them, even if it goes 7 games. But I think if they can reclaim their game in this, reclaim their focus, I think they can go to Toronto and steal a game 6.
Knicks and Hawks.
Whew. Oh man.
It's
Well, I think
2-2.
we were both on the Knicks bandwagon on that. But again, the Hawks are, much like the Raptors, much like the Magic, they're a team that they're playing like they've got nothing to lose. And the Knicks, they just need to find their soul again. It's like I think everybody's trying to play hero ball, and they need that maybe that one guy to be the hero. So, that's about all I can say. It's a winnable series for them, but they just, again, they just have to find their hero, their center to really get them through.
Let's go out west.
All right.
OKC's already taken out Phoenix. What about the Spurs and the Trailblazers? Spurs up 3-1.
Okay. I think the Spurs will close it out. In 5 games. They were going to lose a game. I don't think anybody expected really a sweep. I didn't expect a sweep. So I'm just going to say, yeah, they'll probably close it out because they have something to prove.
All right. Lakers, Rockets.
I'm disappointed in the Rockets because I thought they would give them a better series. Yeah, they curb stomped them the other game, but the Lakers, I think they Marcus Smart has really been a spark for them that I think it surprised me in a way, the way he's taken his game to another level. I'm not surprised at him as a player. I'm surprised at what he's done in this series. It makes me wonder what would have happened had Boston kept him. They might have had another title by now.
All right. Last but not least, Nuggets, Timberwolves.
Oh boy. Uh I tell you that the T Wolves, they've got a look. I mean, they really have. They have a look like, they've got nothing to lose, and the Nuggets have really surprised me. And speaking of focus and lapses, that's another team that, sometimes they just take their eye off the ball, and especially on defense. That's what's really
Hmm.
surprised me. They were known for their defense for a while, and now it just seems like it's non-existent. And the T-Wolves can score. I mean, we've seen that in this series. They can score, and they've got balanced scoring. And it's not over, but the Nuggets are better figure it out, or else it's lights out the next game.
All right. Give me a short, because we're getting ready to run overtime. Short synopsis. Kentucky Derby, man. What you got?
Whew. Well, uh, I guess it's a surprise because the odds-on favorite, and let me hold on, I'm going to grab my sheet right quick. Okay, there we go. All right.
Well, I'm going to ask you the question while you're looking up. Renegade's number 1 seed.
Well, yeah,
You got
yeah,
an inside.
he's the favorite, but
You got.
he's on the rail.
So I was
It,
going to ask you, should I still be rooting for Renegade since he has an inside position?
uh, No, only because, well, no, and it has nothing to do with Renegade. It has everything to do with post position. And I think it's been something like, I want to say at least 19 years since a horse has won from the rail. And
From the rear,
you
yeah.
really have to get out there fast in that group because, when they come out of the gate, it's like, 20, it's like being on the beltway, and and like one lane is shut down, all of a sudden it just goes down like this. He's got his work cut out for him. Good horse, but he's got to get out there. He's got to lead the pack. There's always going to be one sprinter that's going to test him, but in a race like this with 19 other horses, you can get bunched in really, really quickly. He's the kind of horse I think that can get out there and stay out there, but the key is he's got to be in like those top two or three as they enter the
Mhm.
first turn.
Gary Graves, take us home, man.
Well, first of all, man, we have to pay our respects to Monty Coleman of the Redskins slash Commanders who passed away this week. Probably the linebacker. Well, there's been several linebackers of our lifetime, during those glory years, but Monty Coleman was the man. I mean, number 51 was key to all three Super Bowl victories. Was just one of the most determined linebackers that I've seen. Other than maybe Lawrence Taylor of that time. And yes, I'm gonna mention him in that same
Mm.
breath. And you know, rest in peace, my friend. Thank you for the memories.
Man, great comment, Gary. And Monty Coleman, great Washington player, but even a better person and a pillar in the community.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, it's been another great week in sports. Thank you to Patti Mallin from No Crying in Baseball for coming by today and giving insight on the Orioles and what they can do to continue to move forward. Hey, this week, watch a little baseball, watch some NHL, watch some UFL, watch some horse racing, as Gary is trying to tell me, watch some NBA, but above all else, just watch some sports. We'll see you again real soon. Take care.